Welcome to the Body Buddies podcast, where we talk nutrition, fitness, and mindset. I'm Christy Joe, mind and body strategist, here to guide you through the totally confusing world of all you need to be doing to make it simple, doable, and totally practical for your life. I hope you enjoy learning with me, and when you're ready to learn more and get access to the different programs and products that I have put out into the world, head over to www.body-buddies.com. Hi, Body Buddies. Welcome to another Body Buddies podcast. You know, it's not going to be the Body Buddies podcast much longer. We will be rebranding this in a short while, probably the next 1 to 2 weeks, as the Power Foods Lifestyle podcast. So when the cover art changes, when the name changes, I hope you'll still be able to find it in your subscriptions of all the podcasts you listen to. We are really excited, and my cute little family, we have really made some decisions about Body Buddies and the direction things are going for me, as I'm just a few short months away from giving birth to my first child, and very exciting time. This decision to stop Body Buddies and essentially dissolve the business, it's been months, if not years, in the coming. And because you guys are podcast listeners, I get to have a little more in-depth conversation with you before we dive into today's podcast episode. But just want you to know, if you've been a part of Body Buddies in any way, shape, or form as a personal client of mine in any of my challenges, courses, purchased any of my programs, or just been here listening, I really appreciate you. Thank you for being on this journey with me. It's been such a journey of growth for me personally, and been a huge, if not the hugest part of the past 7 years of my life. But as all good things do come to an end or a pivot, that's what must happen now, as my life is different. My priorities are different. And so the business will not continue, but my passion, which is educating and providing information and helpful motivation for each of you trying to incorporate these very useful strategies into your own life. And that's why the podcast will continue. That's why the blog will continue, and just a few other platforms. So this will be the main home base for how you and I are going to have our ongoing food relationship. And we are going to learn, we are going to investigate new thoughts and mindsets. And I'm just very, very excited about these changes. It's right. It feels right. It feels good. It feels scary. It feels quite foreign, because when something's been your life for so long, it's hard to imagine stepping back away from it and allowing something else to fill that space. But again, it's a beautiful transition that's going on. With all of these changes, it's kind of been sad, because I had a few projects in the works that I was about to release that I had worked on for some time. One of them was my next book. And after much thought, I decided I will not publish it, due to the fact that the main purpose for the book was to provide the information people need for the keto phase challenges, the background, the research. So what I want to do is, over the next few episodes or so, I'm going to actually read you this book. And if you are listening to this before July 31st, you can still grab those keto challenge phases, those PDF programs of the meal plans, all of the information, the grocery list, the recipes, the workout plan. You can still grab those at half off if you go over to powerfoodslifestyle.com/keto challenge. But unfortunately, if you're listening to this after July 31st, 2019, I'm no longer functioning as a business, and I'm not selling any of these plans. So I hope that you're able to take advantage of that information. Otherwise, I have confidence in you. I have confidence that with the information I'll provide, that if you sit down, you pull out that pen and paper, you put on your thinking cap, you brainstorm, that you do have the power to create your own personal plan and approach. And I'm going to give you all the information you need to do that. So today, let's dive into leaky gut and the chronic stress, the toxic overload, the less than optimal diet choices that we're faced with that have resulted in this condition that is so much on the rise. And we're going to see a lot of correlation between this condition and many of the alarming rise in statistics of all kinds of symptoms. I'll go through and list a lot of those symptoms, but essentially you need to listen from now until the end of this podcast episode if you are experiencing anything less than optimal function in your health and in your gut, in your digestion, in your energy, your well-being, your mental health. If you're encountering anything that you're saying things aren't right, then this podcast episode is for you. And I need you to listen with full intent, because I may just say something that hits home in a way nothing else ever has. So the sooner you open your perspective to all of the reality and the impact of your gut on your whole body health, the faster you're going to find lasting results and alleviation of those symptoms in your body. Hippocrates even said, all disease begins in the gut. So what is leaky gut? Your intestines are covered with a protective layer of epithelial cells that are linked together tightly. In fact, it is found that over 40 different proteins play a role in this protection. In a well-functioning gut, this protective layer serves as a barrier between your intestines and your bloodstream. These tight junctions have two jobs while regulating their permeability. 1. Allow key nutrients to enter the bloodstream, being absorbed from the food you eat. And 2, disallow toxic chemicals, yeast, bacteria, and even parasites from entering the bloodstream. If these tight junctions of the intestinal protective layer are too permeable, number 2 occurs, which was that toxic chemicals like yeast, bacteria, and parasites enter the bloodstream, and tiny particles that never should have been found in your blood are granted entrance. This presents quite the problem, as it is found nearly 80% of the immune system lies directly outside the gut wall. What would the consequence be of bad particles that shouldn't be passing through the gut wall getting through and disrupting the immune system, as well as getting into the bloodstream that circulates the entire body, including crossing the blood-brain barrier? Inflammation, which is the root of nearly all disease. Science is continuously working to reveal the ultimate causes of leaky gut and an increased permeability. Surely the future will unveil many more solutions, but what we do know and have control over is clear. Toxin overload is one of the contributors. This includes drug and prescription use, alcohol use, pesticides, synthetic cleaning products, synthetic cosmetic products, synthetic body products, pollution, and mold. A poor diet, things including genetically modified organisms or GMOs, refined hydrogenated oils, added sugar, synthetic food additives, and conventional dairy products. Bacterial dysbiosis, which includes ibuprofen use. Did you know that? Antibiotic use as well. I want to pause here and just put my 2 cents in a little bit further. So much of my life, due to my scoliosis, I turned towards ibuprofen or even aspirin because I didn't want to take heavier prescription medications. I didn't realize that it was turning into everyday use. About 2 to 3 years ago, my cystic acne was at an all-time high. Some of you who used to follow me on Snapchat may remember me talking extensively about it. The other day, my husband actually came across some photos from that time, and he was very wide-eyed and saying, "Wow, your skin has come a long way." As I think back to what was different then versus now is that my understanding of the gut and my focus on healing my own leaky gut, getting my own dysbiosis taken care of, really cleaned up. And one of that contributors for me was that I was using way too much ibuprofen. So I didn't realize how problematic that had become for me. I'm not saying that's the sole contributor, but where I was already living a very strategically healthy lifestyle, feeling like I was trying to do those things that would help me be at my optimal best. But still, there were little things that were sneaking in. And I venture to guess that many of you listening, that you're also going to come across little things that you're like, maybe that's contributing. So anyway, back to the book. Chronic stress can contribute with unmanaged emotions and sleep mismanagement. That's huge in our society, whether it's our cell phones are keeping us up at night, we're not plugging them away in the other room. We should never, never, never be sleeping with them in our room. We should have them in the living room, the kitchen, somewhere else. Family charging stations work very well. This has been said again and again from neurologists, from people people who study longevity, people who study electromagnetic waves, of all sorts of standpoints. So I encourage you, if you are not yet sleeping with your phone in a different room, let's get back to the old-fashioned alarm clocks and let's get the phones out of our rooms. We can begin to make a great difference in your body just by focusing on these areas, cleaning up your diet, implementing gut balancing techniques, and finding solutions for chronic stress. The next question we have to ask is, why hasn't our doctors told us about leaky gut and everything going on? Well, from Dr. Will Cole, functional medicine doctor, he says mainstream medicine trains doctors to diagnose a disease and match it with a corresponding drug. When there is a drug on the market for leaky gut, then you can bet everyone will be tested for a leaky gut and sent home with a prescription. Today, with industry funding outpacing what the government spends by billions of dollars, it's no surprise that a pharmaceutical drug for celiac disease is in the works. Something tells me the term leaky gut will be making its way into your doctor's office in the near future. Wait and see. How do you know if you have leaky gut? Well, Dr. Will Cole gives more of the functional medicine practitioner approach, which is to check the permeability through a simple blood test looking for an elevation of two things. Number one is zonulin. Zonulin is a protein the body makes that loosens the tight junctions of your intestinal lining or your gut's gatekeepers, allowing easier access to the bloodstream. If there is an elevation of zonulin, you are at risk for leaky gut. Number two, lipopolysaccharides, or LPS. These are toxins excreted by some of your gut bacteria. If they're found in the bloodstream, we know there's been a breach of your protective gut lining. The following list offers my suggestions for identifying if you're the perfect candidate for this journey, and the following recommendations through the phases that I'm going to describe through the next few podcast episodes. This list was determined based on my experience of coaching clients through this process. Just because a condition or symptom isn't presented, though, doesn't mean the journey isn't right for you either. Again, if you're experiencing anything in your health that you feel isn't right, then this would absolutely be something to pay attention to. You get sick frequently, at least once per month. You have digestive health issues or irritable bowel syndrome. You frequently bloat and have flatulence. You have more than 20 pounds of body fat to lose. You have acne, eczema, or other inflammatory skin conditions. You have hypothyroidism. You have high cholesterol. You have high blood pressure. You have high hemoglobin A1C numbers. You have chronic pain. You have food sensitivities. You have an autoimmune disease. You have arthritis or achy joints. You experience brain fog and memory decline. You have experienced rapid weight gain recently. Or you have mood swings or a history of mental illness. If you are someone experiencing moderate to severe emotional eating and binging symptoms, this may not be the right time for you to do this protocol. As someone who experienced over 15 years of these turbulent eating behaviors, I feel confident in telling you the only way I would endorse your continuation into the protocol is if you have a weekly therapy session or binge eating coach to support you along the path. I'll pause there to answer the question many have asked as I am doing this rebranding and dissolution of the business. Will I still be coaching private clients? The answer is yes. However, I will not be marketing it. Basically, just you podcast listeners know I won't be taking on any more than 5 people at a time, and they're coaching calls only. I'm not writing any plans. We are just going through the coaching experience of shifting how we think, how we approach the situation, the mindfulness, as well as knowing what strategy is right. And so again, that's only available basically upon request via email. You can reach me at powerfoodslifestyle@gmail.com. Undoing a lifetime of hardwired habits in a short amount of time is simply not plausible. However, if you are focusing just as intensely on developing mental strength tools and emotional outlets for triggering events as you are the journey of nutrition application, then this journey just may be one of the most healing events for you. The question of what type of person do I need to become to succeed with this roadmap should be filling your mind right about now. It's a needed pondering point, as without it, you can't truly change the way you go about your life. And when we're talking about nutrition changes, I'm a true believer that after clearing my own brain fog, losing the extra weight, and fixing my own gut issues, that your success hinges on how consistent you can actually be. I know it's overwhelming when you have lots going on in your life, but that's where the real mindset work begins. All you need are a few key habits to plug into your life. This is what becomes your daily routine. Before I finally started succeeding with my own body and health, initially in 2012, I was an excessive exerciser, then became injured, so stopped exercising. I constantly fell off the wagon, got depressed about how I couldn't succeed with my goals, and ended up going crazy, binging on even more food because I was so deflated. The day I woke up for real, and realized I had to become the master of my thoughts was the most powerful pivot point for me. And I began to get very efficient and simple in what I did each day. Consider which of the following you will need to implement, or what ideas you have when you hear what worked for me. Number 1, I began working out at the same time each day, first thing in the morning at 5 a.m. This was the only time I could make it happen, so I woke up and did it, no matter what. I stuck to a 60-minute simple program I had designed for myself at that time. Now I've been a personal trainer for over 10 years now, so that did help. Number 2, I began following the same meal plan every day of the week for 1 week before changing it up. This made my shopping and prep so much easier. I didn't have to think. I just ate it even when I didn't want to or it didn't sound good. I knew I was finally getting consistent with the food coming in my body so I could heal. Number 3, I kept a notebook with me so I could write down when I wanted to go nuts and blow my diet, when I was frustrated with my weight, or when I was comparing myself to others and things just didn't seem fair. This became my outlet for these consuming feelings rather than pushing me into my next binge. Number 4, I had an accountability chart where I gave myself a gold sticker at the end of each day. Oh, how I craved getting that gold star every single evening. In my first transformation of my body, I achieved 88 straight days of nailing it. Where there's a will, there's a way. Consistency is the name of the game as you journey through the phases. Remember, this protocol is not my lifestyle plan. This is the healing plan. Adjustment into a maintainable lifestyle happens near the end of phase 3. Meal timing. As we discuss meal timing, I think it necessary to point out that we as people change. Our lives rarely remain the same, so changing up your meal timing approach is normal and natural. Do not think you are failing or messing things up. The key is to be as consistent as you can be, of course, but to always have the additional tools of knowledge in your back pocket to adjust as needed. Many people find that option 1, which I'll present in a minute, works best for them Monday through Friday, while option 2 works best on weekends. You may find you only enjoy one style I discuss in a moment. You may alternatively find that you enjoy the thrill of cycling back and forth between the options every day. Lest you become too fixated on one being more optimal or achieving faster results than the other, remember that only the one you personally can sustain over the long run holds the value in optimality of fast results. Success comes down to you and your discipline. Meal timing option 1. Intermittent fasting. If you are someone who doesn't particularly enjoy eating often and the thought of needing to make time for eating frequently feels really burdensome, then intermittent fasting, or IF, just might be for you. In this style of eating, you focus on feeding your body in an 8-hour window while you abstain from food, not water, for a 16-hour window. This fasting window includes sleep time. The most popular approach to this is 3 meals per day, where individuals eat a lunch around 12 p.m., a snack around 4 p.m., and dinner around 8 p.m. This 8-hour window can be shifted to whatever hours work best for you, though most do better pushing the fast as long as possible following sleeping to maximize the physiological benefits. What are those physiological benefits? If you have high insulin levels, you may see a significant drop in these levels. This not only facilitates fat burning, but may also lead to a reversal of type 2 diabetes over a 3-month plus period of time. Levels of human growth hormone, HGH, have been shown in studies to increase as much as 5 times. This helps with retaining muscle as you age and facilitates the burning of more body fat for fuel. Studies of prolonged fasting have shown the body more efficiently completes cellular repair processes, such as removing waste materials from cells. This may help to protect the body from the rising statistics of cancer and other preventable diseases. In addition to physiological benefits, there are a few potential psychological benefits. Moms and dads with young kids find it easier to focus on morning routines of the children without having to worry about feeding themselves. This keeps their priorities straight and they don't feel any guilt for spending time on themselves when they want to be putting all attention into their children. When the first meal comes later, possibly during nap time, moms can feel relief that now it's time to enjoy feeding their bodies. This may also be true of those with hectic business morning routines and appointments. Individuals who like the feeling of a full belly may benefit from doing IF. Because it is best strategy in the long term to keep total daily macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, as well as total calories to a standard amount regardless of the meal timing approach, eating larger meals less frequently means you will have a fuller belly with more volume. This may be the trick to sustainability for some people, rather than feeling they were barely satisfied for a few hours with small, frequent meal eating style. Since intermittent fasting does not have to be rigidly observed with 3 meals, but could turn into a grazing period of all necessary macronutrients and calories over the 8-hour period, many people find this a lot more enjoyable, eating what they want, when they want it, so long as it's on the plan and they're within the eating window. Some may even shorten the window of eating based on the hustle of the day and find they enjoy thinking about food less and simply making sure the food happens sometime. This may be a sustainable strategy in the long term with its flexibility. Meal timing option 2, small frequent meals. If you are someone who enjoys the act of eating and would graze all day long if they could, small frequent meals may be the right meal timing approach for you. In this style of eating, you focus on feeding your body regularly, about every 2.5 to 3 hours for a total of 6 meals per day. This adds up to an approximate 15-hour feeding window. The most popular approach to this is the use of basic Power Foods lifestyle principles as laid out in Edition 2, which, yes, is going to be available on Amazon even after July 31st. But right now, before July 31st, you can get 50% off my starter kit, which includes the Power Foods Lifestyle paperback book, the audiobook files, 6 sample starter meal plans for weight loss, the Power Foods grocery list, and a few other bonuses in there. So head over to powerfoodslifestyle.com, get 50% off before July 31st if you don't yet have the book. So the popular approach to PFL principles include eat meal 1 within an hour of waking or following an early morning exercise session. Eat each subsequent meal 2.5 to 3 hours apart. Aim to eat the final meal of the day within an hour or 2 of going to bed. If exercising midday, aim to have one of your meals 1 hour prior to starting exercise. All of these principles remain the same regardless of the times you are awake. I'm speaking to you, night shift workers. What are the physiological benefits of small frequent meals? If you have high insulin levels, you may see a drop in those levels with your diligence in regular meal timing. It's very important you do not skip meals so as to catch the fall of dropping blood sugar, regulating your insulin. The smaller volume of each meal helps insulin surges remain lower. Studies of regular meals in small intervals show that leptin and ghrelin, hormones that control satisfaction following a meal as well as appetite to eat before a meal, are more regulated when regular feedings in small volume occur. Digestion may be easier for sensitive digestive tracts, smaller stomachs, recipients of gastric bypass surgery, gallbladder removal, and many other conditions. Bowel movements may happen more frequently and less flatulence may occur. In addition to physiological benefits, there are a few potential psychological benefits. You may be someone who just enjoys eating food. The restriction of eating times may result in a psychological scarcity wherein once you are allowed to eat, like in intermittent fasting, control is lost and you eat more than you should, even with proper macronutrients and calories for your moderate caloric deficit. Eating small, frequent meals helps the brain quiet as it squeals for the desire to eat. The successful eater can quiet the mind with a reminder, food is coming soon. Individuals who feel better with a light tummy and only a satisfied feeling, not gorged, following meals may benefit from following the small frequent meals eating strategy. Because it is best in the long term to keep total daily macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, as well as total calories to a standard amount regardless of the meal timing approach, eating smaller meals more frequently means you will have a less swollen belly with less volume. This also means you may feel hunger or the desire to eat a bit more frequently, though this is manageable with proper preparation and structure in the day for meals. In the next episode, I'm going to walk you through phase 1 of 3 phases that will help you in this healing journey. I'm going to share with you the scientific purpose and goal of phase 1, as well as how to stop feeding bad bacteria in your gut, give you the exact nutrition strategy of what to do, as well as what not to do. I'll tell you what supplements you need to be taking in phase 1, the approach towards weighing yourself and measuring the data of your body. I'll share with you the exercise approach for phase 1, how to handle indulgences, mindset strategies for success, and how to know when it's time to move on to the next phase. I'm excited to share these things with you, so look forward to that next episode when we talk about phase 1 of Journey Through the Phases. Again, thank you so much for being here, being a part of this experience, As we transition over to the Power Foods Lifestyle podcast, I do appreciate you sharing it with your friends and leaving a review if you haven't yet. That's the way that this information is going to move forward and continue to help more people. You know always how I end this. Power your body, one meal, one workout, one day at a time.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on iTunes. You can learn more about Body Buddies and Power Foods Lifestyle by going to www.body-buddies.com, BODY-BUDDIES.com, and powerfoodslifestyle.com. That's www.POWERFOODS-lifestyle.com.
Information in this episode is provided for informational purposes and is not meant to substitute the advice provided by your own physician or other medical professional. Information and statements regarding dietary supplements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.